Welcome, crypto fam, to the number one daily Bitcoin pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as the latest breaking news. Bitcoin trader eyes yearly close gains as quarter four Bitcoin price gains top 50%. Also, for the 8th week in a row, Michael Saylor posts a Saylor Bitcoin tracker. MicroStrategy always buys more Bitcoin the next day, so expect a big announcement from the Giga Chad tomorrow. Also, Ethiopia made over 100 million by mining Bitcoin via renewable energy. The game theory is playing out. Also in today's show, El Salvador's Bitcoin stash smashes 6,000 BTC, now worth $569 million, as well as Trump's Bitcoin policies depend on the U.S. economic standing. We'll also be discussing BitGo CEO predicts good gains in 2025. I'll be sharing his forecast. And we'll also be discussing Bitcoin may reach 150 to 400,000 next year based on a strategic Bitcoin reserve and Fed rates, according to Blockware. Also, NBA's Scottie Pippen says $1 million is next for the Bitcoin. Let's go. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show. If you're new to the channel, important to smash the likes. Go ahead, subscribe, to hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week, including Sundays. Just like this, church is in session. Today is pod episode 1863. I'm your host, JV. It's December 29, 2024. 2 more days until we have our new year of 2025. Bitcoin's flirting just above 93,000, low correction on the day, and checking out Coin 360, you should be able to see here on your screen. Bitcoin correcting. Most all the major cryptos correcting in the red. Checking out coinmarketcap.com. The current crypto market cap sits at 3.26 trillion, and the Bitcoin market cap is 1.85 trillion. We got roughly, looks like 80 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. The Bitcoin dominance is currently sitting at 56.6%, with the Ether dominance same as yesterday at 12.3%. Checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. FTT coin leading the pack. Virtual and KCS. Let me know which alts, if any, you are bullish on for the bull. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective on the day and the bulk of the market correcting and in the red. Not a good look when scam token FTT is the top gainer on the day. And checking out on the monthly, definitely the majority of the alt in the red. I'd say maybe 70-30, red over green. Checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Today we're 73, yesterday 72, last week is 73, and last month is 78. In extreme greed. And checking out the time chain calendar. We have 173,044 blocks until the halving of 2028. We're currently on block number 876,956, and you can currently exchange one fiat US monopoly dollar for 1,070 Satoshi. So stack them stats and put down the gats, and that's it. But yeah, being we're behind on time today, we're just gonna roll right through and get to the TA, aka astrology for the broskies. In fact, I'll even skip all the technical jargon from the article, and maybe we just dive right into the charts. I think that's more important, in my opinion. Let me know if that's cool. So yeah, to save on time here, looking at the charts, this is the 1 hour. Many targets. We do have a bull target of 107.6 still in play. We also have a super bear target sitting at 84.3. Let me know which direction do you think the Bitcoin price action will trend over the course of the next couple of days before we enter 2025 and we say goodbye to 2024 and put a bow on it. Zooming out from the 1 hour, we'll take a look at the 4 hour. The 4 hour says it's going up forever, Laura. We also have a bull target here on the 4 hour chart of 107, and we have a bear target sitting all the way down at 76.5 for a bearish pennant. And zooming out from the 4 hour, take a quick look at the daily. The daily says it's going up forever, Laura. Rising wedgie. Hey now. And that's on the daily chart. You can see we've had some corrective days this week, last week, since tapping out at the all-time high of 108.3. We've been corrective. And zooming out from the daily, we take a quick look at the weekly. We still have a target showing on the weekly chart at 124. I think that's very unlikely now with 2 days left in the year, but you never know. We can hit that very quickly here in Q1 of 2025, which is right around the corner. But you can see we had a nice run up, since the Trump November 5th election, it was weekly green candle close on the weekly after weekly, 5 consecutive. And then we finally started to get some corrective weekly candle closes here. And today we get another, today is the final weekly candle of the entire year. So let me know where you feel will likely close. I was hoping to be above 100,000, but it's not looking to be that way. And zooming out on the monthly, you can see Moonvember was the biggest green monthly candle close we've ever had, appreciating roughly 30,000 in fiat dollars. And we're printing a corrective thus far, unless we can start pumping here last minute. Again, we got 2 days before the end of the year. So let me know where you feel will likely go from here. And in breaking news, for the 8th week in a row, Michael Saylor posts a Saylor Bitcoin tracker. MicroStrategy always buys more Bitcoin the next day, or at least announces the purchase. So expect the big purchase announcement from Michael Saylor tomorrow. And as pointed out here, Ethiopia made over $100 million by mining Bitcoin via renewable energy. Also, as reported earlier in the year, Russia was launching a Bitcoin mining hub in Ethiopia. It's due to the advantageous electricity and also the hydro power dams and the natural ways to produce electricity. The game theory is playing out as predicted. Global hash wars in play. And with that being shared, fam, again, welcome everyone joining the live. We're only streaming on YouTube today. Streamlabs gave us some issues, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Here's the latest from Bitcoin country, El Salvador. That's right. Their stash hit 6,000 of the bitty, worth $569 million at current prices. El Salvador has become the 6th country to currently hold more than 6,000 of the bitty, further solidifying the crypto status as a treasury asset for President Nayib Bukele, his country. That's right. El Salvador, thy savior, as it translates in English. But anyways, El Salvador acquired another 1 Bitcoin December 29th, pushing the country's holdings to 6,000 Bitcoin, currently worth $569 million, according to the National Bitcoin Office of El Salvador's portfolio tracker. The latest buys puts El Salvador up 108% on the Bitcoin investment, having purchased 6,000 of the bitty at an average purchase price of $45,400, according to Nayib Bukele's portfolio tracker. The Bukele-led government purchased its first 200 Bitcoin on September 6, 2021, making it the first nation to do so. Around the time El Salvador became the world's first country to make Bitcoin legal tender. Look at them holdings. Not too shabby, eh? Now, El Salvador holds the 6th most Bitcoin amongst nation states, trailing only the United States, China, the UK, Ukraine, and Bhutan, according to BitBo's Bitcoin Treasuries data. Now, while El Salvador typically buys 1 Bitcoin per day, it bought 1 million worth one day after striking the $1.4 billion deal with the IMF. And again, on December 22nd, that's a blackjack, baby. Despite the IMF requesting its roll back some of its Bitcoin activity, Bukele said, F the IMF, we gonna be okay. F the IMF, this a freedom play. Hey, I'm a stack bitty all day. So give me more money, I'll stack more of the bitty. Preach! El Salvador's National Bitcoin Office Director, Stacey Herbert, said the Central American country may continue to buy the bitty at an accelerated pace, aka F the IMF. A spokesperson from the Bitcoin office further told Cointelegraph El Salvador wouldn't sell its Bitcoin holdings, adding that Bitcoin continues to be our main strategy. That's the only strategy. However, El Salvador's Shivo wallet will be sold or wound down, said Herbert, who expects private sector Bitcoin wallets to continue serving El Salvador. From my current knowledge, I would recommend Exodus or Strike. Not even the local folk are recommending Shivo. And FYI, Shivo is not the official government wallet. It's third party, and apparently it sucks, and everyone's been telling me the same thing. Now, the IMF still needs to approve the El Salvador deal, which would mark the end of 4 years of negotiations strained by Bukele's Bitcoin policies, which the IMF said put the country at risk, as if the IMF cares about any human beings in these foreign countries such as El Salvador. Come on, give me a break. Shout out to all the bitty baddies for holding her down. But anyways, next story of the day, family. Let's discuss the latest with the Trumpster. Trump's policies for the bitty depend upon the U.S. economic standing, according to the Crypto Quant CEO. That's right. Crypto Quant CEO founder Ki Young-ju said the president-elect Trump's Bitcoin policy is likely to depend on the perceived strength of the U.S. economy and the U.S. dollar by the global investment community. He argued the store value assets like gold and Bitcoin surged in price when investors perceived threats to U.S. economic how do I pronounce this? Hegemony? I know I'm fucking it up right now because it doesn't ring a bell, but Please correct me. However, investors continue to express confidence in the U.S. economy and see the U.S. dollar as a safe haven currency. The CEO said that this position of strength makes it unlikely that the Trump administration would adopt a Bitcoin strategic reserve to protect the U.S. dollar dominance and may cause the president-elect to backtrack on the pro-Bitcoin policies. So another major influencer is very skeptical that Trump is going to adopt the Bitcoin. He says even before his inauguration, Trump consistently warned other world leaders of the power gap between the U.S. and other nations. This rhetoric, combined with increased capital inflows to the dollar, could renew confidence in the supremacy. That's what's up. Around me, many Koreans are choosing U.S. dollars as a safe haven over gold or Bitcoin, particularly as the Korean won weakens. The CEO continued, who I take it is Korean. This trend is also seen in emerging economies where individuals use U.S. dollar stable coins to store their value because their local currency is hyperinflating into oblivion. Now, Paxos co-founder Charlie Cascarilla recently shared that the Middle East, Bitcoin and North Africa conference that the entire financial system will eventually be on-chain. I agree with that. Dollar-pegged stables will be the cornerstone of the blockchain economy and improve the utility of the U.S. dollar by bringing the speed of the worldwide connectivity of the internet to the fiat. Individuals and jurisdictions experiencing the hyperinflation tend to use the U.S. dollar as a store of value against rapidly depreciating local fiats. Now, in March of 2024, the Turkish lira's inflation hit a staggering 67%. Not surprised. Turkey has the highest rate of stablecoin purchases expressed as a percentage of the gross domestic product of the world. And in 2023, Chainalysis revealed over 50% of the digital assets sent to Latin American countries of Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, and Mexico were stables. Mexico, Latin America, Central America, South America, Americas. Let's go. Next story, eh? Here's some target from an analyst. Actually, all the next stuff is all bullish. So strap into your safety belts or whatever and get ready because we're going to the moon. And it's only a pit stop. As you can see on your screen, the headline reads, BitGo CEO Mikey predicts good gains in 2025. Thank you, Captain Obvious Michael. Here's the forecast. In a new CNBC interview, Mikey says that despite the crypto industry already being bullish on the new pro-crypto administration arriving in Washington, D.C., it's possible a new regulatory environment hasn't been completely priced in yet, yo. That's right. I think the regulatory is somewhat priced in, but in general, we've seen that these news events don't always price it until they actually are. So look, we have a new administration coming in. Things look very promising. People are very excited. They're very bullish, but it's not here yet. All right. So I actually think we're going to continue to see effects of that all throughout 2025. Remember that for the last 2.5 years, we have not just had a regulatory environment that didn't want to help you. We had a regulatory environment that was actively trying to kill you. Preach. And that's why, Gary Gensler, if you're listening, go home and get your shine box. There's a new chairman in town, and his name is the Nippinator. So all of a sudden, with that changing in the opposite direction, we're going to continue to see good gains next year. Can I get an amen? And when asked about whether we will see more companies add Bitcoin to their corporate treasuries, Mikey said it's absolutely going to happen. And according to the CEO, the biggest companies simply have too much cash lying around that is predictably getting debased by the increase in monetary supply, making the Bitcoin allocation the most viable strategy to ever exist for the mankind. Quoting him here. We're talking with multiple clients right now about doing that. It's been a conversation for the last couple of years. But frankly, the regulatory changes make it a lot easier. Having ETFs available makes it a lot easier. People don't remember exactly how much balance sheet cash some of the top 7 companies have. It's hundreds of billions of the dollars. So having some access to thy biddy, into thy portfolio, into thy treasury management, it just makes sense. And remember, it's a hedge against whether the U.S. can curtail the inflation. And while we're optimistic about what's going to happen with the new administration over the next few years, America has not had a track record at all of being able to curtail the spending. Money printer continue to go brr. So if we're going to continue to see the monetary supply go up, Bitcoin is the perfect hedge against that. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I mean, common sense will tell you just that. You know what I mean? Money printer will continue to go brr. Hence, pretty little bitty will continue to go up. So let's dive into our next story of the day. Here we go. Let's discuss the 400,000 target for 2025 and then $1 million prediction from the one and only Scottie Pippen, one of the NBA legends, because Bitcoins are ripping like the new Scottie Pippen. Anyways, Bitcoin may reach 150 Gs or 400,000 next year based on the strategic Bitcoin reserve and the Fed rates, according to the Blockware. Bitcoin's price in 2025 could rise up to 4 times, at worst, increased by 54%, depending upon the Trump strategic Bitcoin reserve and the Fed's policies for their reserve, says crypto mining Blockware Solutions. 2025 bear case for Bitcoin could push its price up 58%, around 150 Gs, from the current price of 94,000, according to Blockware, in which they shared in their report. Blockware said that the 150 bear case target is a possibility if Trump does not follow through on the strategic Bitcoin reserve, an outcome the industry is hopeful will happen early into the administration. That's right. We also have Jack Mallers, founder and CEO of Strike, said Trump will likely issue the executive order on the first day, Jan 20th, in office to designate Bitcoin as a U.S. reserve asset. Meanwhile, Blockware said that the bear case target is also a possibility if the Federal Reserve further reverses course on interest rate cuts and long-term holdings. Those holding Bitcoin for longer than 155 days aggressively sell the Bitcoin. As a base case, 225,000 is Blockware's target, assuming the U.S. government turns its Bitcoin holdings into a strategic Bitcoin reserve. The Fed cuts interest rates as expected and corporate adoption continues at the current price. So what are your thoughts on their bear, base, and bull scenarios? 150 to 400 Gs, holler. They said the 400,000 is the bull case. And as you know, 420 is my base case. Bitcoin price is possible if the 3 factors deliver the best outcomes. First, the Federal Reserve must adopt a more dovish stance. Second, corporate Bitcoin adoption must accelerate, with one of the Magnificent 7 companies, Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, or Tesla, adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet. And one of those companies, Microsoft, had its shareholders vote against the resolution to add the Bitcoin to the company balance sheet during the firm's annual meeting on December 10th, which tells me that company is ran by the lizard folk. It is what it is. Finally, the U.S. government would not only have to convert its existing holdings into a strategic Bitcoin reserve, but also accumulate more of the biddy, an outcome that Digital Galaxy recently said unlikely. As I shared in yesterday's pod, that was one of our stories. They don't believe that Trump is going to buy any Bitcoin whatsoever, as he pledges to do. The U.S. government will not purchase Bitcoin in 2025. That's according to the Galaxy Research report, head of research, Alex Thorne. And Thorne also said that instead, the U.S. government will create a stockpile using the Bitcoin, which it already holds, while discussions of a Bitcoin reserve policy shall continue. All right, fam. Now for our feature story of the day. NBA's Scottie Pippen, the NBA legend himself, says $1 million is the next stop for Bitcoin. So let's break this one down. And for those of you who aren't in the know, Scottie Pippen was on stage with Michael Saylor not too long ago, and he claimed he's known Satoshi way before Bitcoin was even invented, which was pretty hilarious. But nonetheless, he's been making a lot of bullish tweets or posts over on X. This is the man right here. Let me know if you grew up watching Scottie alongside the legendary Michael Jordan, who's considered the greatest basketball player of all time. Scottie is one of the greats as well, many championships and all that. But here's the recent tweet. We'll start here, and then we'll go to his profile, and I'll just share with you some of the things he's been sharing. It's cool to see NBA legends so bullish on Bitcoin, knowing we got to front run them. Well, not Scottie. I mean, Scottie's known about Bitcoin years before it was invented because he's close friends with Satoshi, allegedly. But I digress. He says here, you think you're late to Bitcoin because it hit $100,000? I think I am early to Bitcoin. Great mindset there, because it is 1.7 trillion market cap out of a $900 trillion market cap in the global assets. The next stop for the biddy, $1 million. Let me know if you agree, disagree with Scottie Pippen. Did Satoshi tell you this? See, people are already making fun of him because he claimed to know Satoshi. And Mike Alfred put, or I guess we call that trolling. Mike says, we will probably hit 999,000 first, but that's just a conjecture at this point. Precisely. Someone wrote here, Bitcoin is at the all-time highs. Now we have the most pro-crypto government in history. Fink is buying by the truckload, yet the retail are still asleep. Pay attention, Annan. And yeah, let's get back to the story, family. So yeah, while Pippen might not seem like an authoritative voice in the world of crypto, his previous Bitcoin predictions were eerily, what does that say there? Prescient, if that's pronounced right there. In September, for instance, the former basketball player claimed Satoshi visited him in his dreams to predict that Bitcoin would be trading above 84,000 November 5th. Bitcoin ended up surging above the aforementioned level on November 11th, meaning Pippen's prediction was just slightly off. Bitcoin's currently trading roughly 94,000. Of course, Pippen's eerily impressive prediction track record does not mean that Bitcoin is going to surge to 1 million in the near future. This would mean Bitcoin would need to surpass gold by market cap, and I think that's roughly 17 trillion. Correct me if I'm wrong. And even ardent crypto bulls like Galaxy CEO Mike Novogratz believes that it would take Bitcoin 5 to 10 years to achieve such a massive milestone. Still, there are those who believe that the price of Bitcoin could soar to 1 million in the near future. And for example, Jeff Park of Bitwise recently opined that this could be possibly if the U.S. government does create the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve in 2025. However, he has very low chance of this happening, according to him. Then we have the Blockstream CEO, Adam Back, the Bitcoin OG, has also predicted the Bitty would match the market cap of gold in 2025. So some people do genuinely believe we will hit 1 million. Again, my bull scenario, which I share with you practically every show, is if Trump follows all his promises, adopting Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset for the United States and for the Treasury, and stockpiling the Bitcoin and making the United States Bitcoin mining hub of the world. We can see that happen. But if all that doesn't play out, there's no telling. Anything can happen at the end of the day. Now, another great post I read earlier, and this is just great mindset and why he is a champion, quoting Scottie Pippen from his most recent post. Kobe is a 5 times NBA champion. He also holds the all-time record for missed shots. Babe Ruth is 7 times World Series champion. Also led the MLB in strikeouts for 5 seasons. Tom Brady is a 7x Super Bowl champ. He also holds the record for the most passes intercepted in Super Bowl history. Serena Williams, which some would dare say is a man, but I digress, is a 23-time Grand Slam champion. She also holds the record for the most unforced errors in a single match. Novak is a 24-time Grand Slam champ. He also is unvaxxed and holds the record for the most tennis final losses in history. These aren't contradictions. They are proof of what it takes to win at the highest levels. Winners don't succeed in spite of failure. Such a profound statement here. They succeed because of failure. While others shield themselves from the sting of defeat, winners run towards it. They take big risks and they put their reputation on the line, knowing that whatever happens, they'll come out more competent opponent on the other side. And whether you're chasing championships or personal goals, the same truth applies. To double your rate of success, you have to double your rate of failure. The more you learn about what doesn't work, the more you understand what does work. Everything changes when you reframe losses like this. It's not a setback, it's one step closer. It's not a measure of incompetence. It's proof of your willingness to take risk and charge boldly forward. Failure isn't the enemy of success. It is the foundation. That's the realest shit I've ever heard. So I got to preach it. Shout out to Scottie Pippen. And we'll go from there, family. Welcome everyone. Join the live stream. This is a Q&A segment. There's no Rumble or X due to the, issues on Streamlabs. It wouldn't allow the tri-stream today. It wouldn't allow a double stream and only a single stream. Hence why we're only single streaming. You know what I mean? Here on the tube, as the Nippinator continues to lick himself to send a message to the current chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler. Gary, get your act together. Come on now. I met Michael Jordan once as a child. Did you know he had a restaurant in Charlotte? I didn't know that. That is where I met him. I also met Jane Goodall and was in the newspaper. Well, that's pretty amazing, fam. Shout out Timothy. I appreciate the super. He wrote TEMA something, and then it got shut down by dankness. Appreciate the super nonetheless there. But yeah, there's no shilling tokens. And I guess as a loophole, people are like, we can shill the tokens through the super, but it's best not to do that. But nonetheless, we appreciate your support, Timothy, and we appreciate the super. The world is full of negativity. It's nice to show it's always on the positive.